supposed to. Watch out for the people that ain't close to. Speak a little something you could toast to. I ain't tryna hear about what you won't do. Moving like I'm into. Hit the ground running like the rent do. Speak a little something that you're into. I ain't tryna hear about what you been through. Like hold up, say what's the hold up. I got the pack, who got the roll up? I'm tryna pull up. It seem like every time I show up, it gotta go up. See the drip, they see the glow up. Oh now they know us. See it's funny how my pockets out of shape, but I fit for the flex. Clear the phone call, hit my chick with a text. Parlay through the bird with my drip from the jets. Save a couple hundred by your with the rest. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Ayy, winning like I ought to. I ain't wanna do it but I got to. Smoking what my doctor told me not to. Got these wishing they was hot too. Ballin' like I need to. Got my exes wishing for a redo. Smell the marijuana when I speed through. Hit her with the tip, that's a preview. Hold up, wait up, get your weight up. Shit, get your money, not your hater. Boy, draw a play up. I flip my wrist, a layup. She wanna lay up. I gotta get it, I'ma stay up. I'm all the way up, I got my pay up. I ain't playing with you, I'm a coach now. Commentating, do the most now. I be somewhere booted with my toes down. Make little baby tooted with her nose down. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Make me put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. Ain't give a F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn they stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route that's scenic. I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, young G's. And I'm a self-made man.
I actually interviewed Darius Cooks on my radio show. I've been 5 or 6 years ago before he blew up on social media. And Justice was just articulated. He actually went on Periscope Live during the radio show, did his own show in the studio during the show that he was supposed to be on. But he's a narcissistic individual. And because of that, he's had many of these run-ins. I think there was a scandal a few years ago where he was doing fake credit repair for people and got sued. His restaurant got closed down, those sorts of things. And so he maintains these online scams, preying on the hearts and minds of his followers. And even just was just articulated after our show, because we tend to ridicule people when they act up on our show. He actually went on Periscope Live to talk about me and our producer and some of the other guests after the show. So this has been going on for a long period of time. Now, legally, when somebody talks about you online, that's just talk. But once they get into the place of making threats, either violence, threatening to release personal information, well, that's where you can actually file a criminal report against this individual. And if they do release improper or censored information, personal information that is privileged, that absolutely, you can report that to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations or to the Federal Bureau of Investigations for them to look into it, particularly if you have multiple individuals who are involved in this.
What's up, good Vipo? Let me know that you can hear me in the chat by typing breaking silence, because it looks like we have been in a season of people breaking their silence. Primarily, it's been the survivors of SA and other abuses. But now we have the accused predators also breaking their silence. And that's why we're here tonight. I'm like, if I didn't come live tonight, I'm going out of town, so I wouldn't be able to do it till next week. I'm like, I got to push through. I'm hoping that my energy stays up for y'all, but we got it. We got to break this down. So we have Russell Simmons and P. Diddy, Puffy, Sean, John, Combs, Love, whatever you want to call himself. It's kind of suspicious when somebody keeps changing their aliases. Now we kind of see why. But anyway, thank you to everyone in the chat letting me know that you could hear me by typing Breaking Silence, Precious, and Marlena, and Mocha Barbie, and Aunt May 20. I don't know why that name always throws me off. Heavy Bear, Nicole, Don, TJ, Paula, Slay Girl, Marianne, KG, and Zeline, Deshaun, Amber, Chanel, and Love USA, Margin, aka Margin. Thank you all for letting me know that you can hear me, and everyone else who has let me know. So today, as I just alluded to, we're going to get right into it because I had to extend the opening because I wasn't ready for y'all. I had to use the restroom and everything. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But anyway, so today I became aware of Russell Simmons has started to speak out. It looks like he was involved in a different interview. And during the interview, they kind of brought up like, hey, how do you feel about all this stuff coming out? And they start asking him questions. And he spoke about his own allegations. And so that brings to mind, by the way, thank you to the 97% of you who have hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed, this would be a great time for you to subscribe and be greatly appreciated. And to the rest of you who have not as of yet hit that like button, when you get a chance, it would be greatly appreciated. Next poll question is, did you know that Russell Simmons actually had SA allegations levied against him some years ago, in 2017, actually? So this I'll dig a little deeper at some point, but just giving y'all an overview of where we are today and what's been happening with this particular alleged predator of people who've created magic and artistry that many of us have enjoyed and have grown up with, etc. And just to find out that, Lord Jesus, all the satanic stuff that we heard about in the music industry or entertainment industry as a whole, that we heard rumors about, it's all coming out to be true. All coming out to be true. We're dancing to the devil's music. Lord Jesus, please cover us, Jesus, the blood. But anyway, so Russell breaks his silence. He responds for the first time to the allegations of R and SA by 18 women. So for those of you who didn't know, 18 women came out about him in 2017 when the Me Too movement was really starting to take off. His name was in that number. His name was in that number. And this is what he has to say about that. He's saying, hey, things happen and interpretations of those things could be different. Sounds like a predator to me. Okay.
Can have a recollection from 30 or 40 years ago. If he had more foursomes than most guys had once, could someone leave and feel hurt? Could someone leave and feel they wish they hadn't? Could someone want notoriety in a market where people thirst for fame? I took 9 lie detector tests. People don't know that. 7 from the chairman of the Polygraph Association. 1 for each of the serious accusations.
So last I heard, lie detector tests aren't admissible in court because they're not really 100% reliable. So I hear you, but really the way you even explained it, as in he and Russell, people can leave a situation and be hurt. Why he's so vague? Hurt how? Hurt how? Is he trying to insinuate, oh, they thought it was going to be more? Like, it seemed like a gaslighting kind of answer to me. But anyway, let me see. This poll question is, did you know that Russell Simmons also had SA allegations against him? 81% of you did know. Nearly 20% of you did not know. So now you're aware that this is not isolated to just the people we've been hearing about. There are some people who have been running scared for years, and Russell Simmons has been in that number. Next poll question is, do you believe that Russell Simmons is innocent? He claims, he took the lie detector test. He continues to deny the allegations, revealing that he took 9 lie detector tests in his response to the accusations, challenging the credibility and recollections from decades ago. So he's saying they don't really remember. They kind of, this is something they made up in their head. It's false memories, maybe some dreams, some nightmares that they had that they turned into, false memories of things that they say happened in real life, but they really didn't. So then he goes on furthermore. So first of all, it's not on him. These are people who, women. With him, it's only accusations from women. P. Diddy is everybody in between. Man, woman, child. Unfortunately, child. Now we can officially say man, woman, child. And God forbid if animals could speak. But Russell is, again, saying, hey, these people got their feelings hurt. They was chasing fame. They misunderstood what was really happening there. And then he then turns it on Oprah. It's Oprah's fault. He says, Oprah's role in the documentary aimed at exposing him, claiming that he claiming to confront her, and he claimed to confront her on a phone call and suggested that she suggested that she had stopped believing the women involved, raising questions about her support of Black women. So he's saying that when y'all put the, for those of you who know, because I know our people are wide, vast, and y'all brains got more capacity than mine. What was the name of the documentary that Oprah did about Russell Simmons and all his accusers? I did watch it. It was a couple years ago, so I don't remember the name of it. Put that in the chat for us. And also, I did notice people mentioning Alice's channel. Alice, put your channel name in the chat and put it on the screen. I'm sorry, you're not. Precious in the background. Precious, when Alice put her channel name on the screen, please put it on the, I'm sorry, when she puts it in the chat, please put it on the screen. And Alice is one of our great moderators, and she does have a channel, Accentuating the Positive, if she's kept the name the same. So please subscribe, support our own. So anyway, he's saying that he talked to Oprah about it afterwards, and she's like, oh, I don't believe them women no more. And he's saying that, call her, ask her, I'll give you her number. What? What? So now it's Oprah's fault. So this is what he had to say about that.
And revealed that she would eventually stop believing the women.
She said she believed women, but if you want to call Oprah, I can give you her number. She made a movie about some women, made it very public that she was making the movie and that she made the movie, and then she walked away. Isn't she a supporter of Black women or not? You should call her. She will not defend those women. Those are Black women that she said she supported. She will not defend them. I don't want to go far into this discussion because it is a very sad moment. It was the most traumatizing experience in my entire life. It hurt my children. There are people with 40 accusations. You'd be interviewing them right now, and this subject wouldn't come up. So I feel a little bit targeted, but please continue.
So he said, he's like, there's other people. So he's talking to the interviewer. There's other people, but your line of questioning makes me feel targeted. Makes me feel targeted. How dare you bring up the 19 women who have allegations against me and that have not gotten any justice? How dare you? And it's Oprah's fault. And ask her today. She gonna tell you she won't defend none of them. I ain't never heard Oprah change her tune on this. So, and the truth of the matter is, Oprah's vouching for or not vouching for him don't change my mind about the 19 women. I know how y'all work in Hollywood, but yet also, if Oprah was blatantly wrong, why hasn't she come out? Why haven't you called her out publicly to make her, sue her? Sue her like the meat industry sued Oprah when they claimed that her, saying she won't ever eat meat again because of the mad cow disease back then. They sued her. They lost, but they sued her. Sue her. Sue her. If she has turned everyone against you and followed false allegations and created a whole documentary on it, sue her. You have, in order to prove defamation. I saw somebody in the chat mention, where's the defamation lawsuit? I'm sorry, I forgot who it was. I'm multitasking my brain. But where's the defamation lawsuit? I know that in order to prove defamation, you have to prove a loss of income, your business, etc. You have lost it all. You have lost it. Sue her. Sue Oprah. Now, Oprah don't sue me for telling him to sue you, but I'm being sarcastic here, just in case somebody didn't get it. Don't be adding Oprah. I'm realizing I'm growing. I got to be careful with some of the stuff I say. Y'all be adding Oprah, talking about Vail telling Russell Simmons to sue you. Sue him now. Be these super fan flying monkeys out here. Don't want you to say nothing about their faves. Anyway, so he goes on and he talks about the impact of his life, discussing the negative impacts of the allegations. He says that it has affected his relationships, his charities. He expressed frustration at being targeted and the lack of media coverage on evidence such as the polygraph test footage. So he's saying when he took these 9 polygraph tests, all of which are not admissible in a court of law because they are known to not be reliable. But we don't ignore that part. There's ways to trick the polygraph test. And if you're rich enough to hire somebody to train you how to trick the polygraph test. But that's a whole nother story. Let's just stick on his track. Let's not get off the road. So he's saying that when he took those 9 polygraph tests, the media was not interested in covering that piece of it. They were only interested in covering the information about the documentary and the, 17, 18, 19 women who, well, these are the ones who came out. Y'all know how this is. Those are the women who actually spoke out. 18 women. 18 women spoke out. Probably got to multiply that times probably 2 or 3 or probably more. Some people of experience, survivors experience those things and they want nothing else to do with it. They don't want to rehash it. They don't want to talk about it. Some of them may not still be here in the land of the living due to the trauma, all those sort of things. So you got to know that is a sampling of probably the amount of total people. Anyway, he reflected on also the cultural shifts, as he called it. So he acknowledges the need for better listening, that he had a need for better listening. Maybe that's when someone says no means no. I think you're admitting something here. I should have listened better. Yes, no means no. It actually literally means no. Stop. Do not pass go. He says, they go on to say, and he reflects on the cultural differences of the past, suggesting judgment should consider the context of the time. He denies fleeing to Bali to avoid prison and emphasizes his continuous presence in America. So what I find interesting, because he's older than me, but I did grow up through the 80s and 90s. The 80s, I was an adolescent, but the 90s, I was a teenager. I knew what was happening. I will say that people were getting away with things more so. Like I said, I grew up around R. Kelly. I'm from Chicago. R. Kelly was at my high school and everything, getting the girls. And maybe some boys I didn't know about. So I knew certain things were going on, but they were never right. They were never right. We always knew it was wrong. Now, whether or not people got canceled over it and drugged, there was no internet. There wasn't a public knowledge the way that it is now about these sort of things. So yes, it was a different time in the sense of you could get away with it, but it wasn't never right. So he's like, it's a different time. That happened. I did those things 30, 40 years ago. So it should be okay because it was back then. Don't hold me accountable for what I did in the past. Let me see. I'm gonna close out this poll question. Do you believe that Russell is innocent? 92% of you say no, absolutely not. Quit playing in our face. And 8% of you say, I believe anything that anyone tells me. Or I'm a super fan and it's just hard for me to believe. Or I may have a past that I want y'all to forget about too. So I understand his pain. Who knows? Who knows? I was going to say no judgment, but it's judgment. I'm judging you. Next poll question is, do you think that Russell Simmons ran to Bali to escape potential charges? Now, what I'm not clear of, and y'all can let me know in the chat, but did he ever get sued? Did he have to pay, or did he run before all that stuff could come down the pike? I forgot. It's just been a while. So this is the last piece of it. This is him talking about, no, I'm not running from America. I'm just here. I like it here better.
To avoid prison.
Because I left and I spent so much time here, people have assumed that I really left and ran, even though I'm back in America all the time. I'm behind the 8 ball.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger would later reach out to 4 of Simmons' accusers, and all of whom would stand by their statements.
Thank you to the great people at Comedy Hype. I got that clip from. So he's saying, and now I just saw, who was that? Pink Pearl said that he left before. Let me see if I can. Yeah, good. I found it. Oh, but it didn't click. Where's that? He left before. So you're saying, Pink Pearls, that he actually left for Bali before the charges hit or before we heard about it. I don't know what you mean exactly, but I don't want to assume. But what I will say, and I'm not sure how long you're saying he left before, because what I do understand and what we have to consider that even if he left before we heard about it, generally when these things are about to hit the fan, the celebrities and their teams know this stuff before we do. They sometimes know weeks, months before we do, even longer sometimes. They know stuff is brewing because attorneys are talking, they're getting calls, they're getting, letters through their attorneys, etc., messages, emails, or whatever, letting them know, hey, Jane Doe is bringing up this and they want to talk to you about it, or this is coming down the pipe, or they start hearing rumors. So was it that he actually innocently left because he just wanted the life in Bali, or did he hear and was like, pack it up, let me close out this, let me take care of this, and then head on out before it hit the fan? Because also during his time now, and I have the timeline in front of me, but I do know somebody who just said his own daughter said he ran off. Precious G said his own daughter said he ran off. See, y'all again, I ain't follow him in this story as closely during the time. So, but yeah, so let's see. Who was that? I'm trying to do the laugh. Here it is. I think he left the country before he got sued. Yeah, but my question is, did he leave when he heard and we didn't hear until after he had left? But he knew already what was coming down the pipe, because that's what I was about to say. Because during that time, there were other people going down for the Me Too. The Me Too movement was starting around that time and really taking off. So a lot of people were probably getting a heads up behind the scenes. But anyway, that's where we're at right now with the Russell Simmons thing. Part of this. Last poll question regarding this one is, do you think that Russell ran to Bali to escape potential charges? 94% of you say yes. 6% of you, I don't know. Maybe y'all didn't hear the question. Maybe your finger slipped. I don't know. But no, we're all entitled to our own opinions regarding it. I'm with the majority on all of the poll questions. I have the same sentiments, but I wasn't there. So we'll see, what comes of all of that. Maybe we'll revisit that. We'll just keep it on our radar and see where it goes from here. The next poll question is, we move on to our yet another P. Diddy update regarding another lawsuit that came through. Did it come through today? Yesterday, I think that was. Yeah, that was yesterday, because I was literally getting ready for bed and I started seeing it popping up everywhere. And I was like, I ain't finna talk about it tonight. It's too late. But have you seen Diddy's IG post denying all allegations? So we know that he now has he's facing new charges, but he's had the other, what is this, number 4, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But he's now breaking his silence. He's like, enough is enough. Y'all have really shut it down for me. I am losing it all, my legacy, his livelihood, etc. And so he has something to say. He says in a tweet, this is on his, not tweet, I'm sorry. This is the IG post, Instagram post. He says, enough is enough is titled. Enough is enough. He says, for the last couple weeks, this is all in caps too, y'all. I just noticed that. It's all in caps. He yelling. For the last couple weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroying my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. Now they awful, okay? I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Sean Diddy Combs. Because it's all yellow. For those of y'all who type in caps, that's what That means you're yelling. Stop yelling at us. So he's saying that, Dre Pac, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's what he got to say. So Sean, regardless of this, people still coming out. I ran into another article. It was a friend of Cassie. What was her name? Something Red. We'll pull it in. We'll talk about that later. I had to pull this together real quick for y'all. Came out, and she was a friend of Cassie who was around during the times where he was beating on her, and she saw all this stuff firsthand. She's like, I am no longer going to be in silence. She did a whole interview with Rolling Stone about it. Diddy, it's over. It's over. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Thank you for your service, sir. I wonder, I mean, are there any recent situations? Because all this stuff that we're hearing about so far is beyond the statute of limitations. So these are all civil situations. Unless I'm missing some, because this stuff is like every week is something else happening. So I could be behind. But to my knowledge, there are no criminal charges yet, right? There's nothing that's been within the statute of limitations for it to be criminal. But is that coming? I did hear there was rumor, word on the street was that he had that there was an investigation in New York, criminal investigation, active, but about some situation that was recent. But then when the media questioned the NYPD, they totally denied that there were any open investigations. Then people were questioning, and I questioned it when I heard that. I was like, I don't know if I'm believing it. Because it could be federal too. Because you got to keep in mind who we're talking about. We're talking about a celebrity who travels the world. Once you start crossing state lines with your crimes, it becomes federal. There's feds involved. So it could be they reached out to the NYPD and the NYPD really ain't handling the case. So they like, well, we ain't really lie to you because we ain't handling the case. We just handing off evidence to the FBI. So I don't know. I wasn't really buying, even though they got a statement from the NYPD. I wasn't just taking that. I took it with a grain of salt. Like, I don't know. I don't think it just came out the blue. I mean, it could. People just be making up stuff too on the internet. But anyway, have you seen Diddy's IG post denying all the allegations? 66% of you had. 34% of you had not seen it. So I'm glad that I was able to bring that to you. So now we're moving on to, and I'm going to read this to you. There's a new allegation, the latest one. Diddy and Harv Pierre, who was his CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment, if I'm not mistaken, faced the bombshell essay assault lawsuit. The lawsuit triggers a warning due to the disturbing allegations involving a 17-year-old plaintiff referred to as Miss Doe, as in Jane Doe. So they're calling her Miss Doe. The lawsuit claims that within minutes of filing, key details were confirmed by various witnesses, including a musician whose car was allegedly blown up by Combs. The plaintiff accuses Combs of SA, including drugs. I'm struggling with what words to use. I hate you too. Using actual misconduct in a New York City studio, while Harv Pierre is implicated in facilitating the encounter. So he was the pimp. He was the pimp. Did he respond? Here's Harv's picture. That's Harv Pierre. Did he respond on Twitter by denying the allegations and vowing to fight for his name, his family, and his truth? That's because I think this is just like, oh, wow. Now we're talking about you worse. I'm not going to say you worse, but you in R. Kelly category. you R. Kelly category at this point. That's why I'm starting to wonder, like, will we see any of the, will we see any criminal charges? Because, see, I didn't follow the R. Kelly thing close enough to know, because some of his stuff was really old too, but I guess it was still within the statute of limitations. Some of y'all got to help me out with all those pieces. So anyway, This was a video I saw. Now, I hate I didn't have it. Is it close by? Probably. I ain't gonna dig for it. But there's a video circulating on social media of Diddy with Cassie. And he is in a hotel room and he is standing over Cassie, his ex-girlfriend, the one who sued him and got, from what they're saying, hundreds of millions of dollars to shut up. And everybody thought it was done. They like, oh, she let him get away with it. But I don't know if all this might have been planned on some level. They like, oh, we're going to hit him with the 1, 2, 3 and TKO at the end. But she's laying down. She's on the, look like a hotel room floor. They're in a bedroom of some sort. And she is like crawling on the floor. And she has a blanket over her. And he's like, yeah, you better not get up and blah, blah, blah. But he's treating it like a joke. He posted it on social media. I hate I don't have it close. But he posted it on social media. And he posted on social media. And it was as a joke back then. But now you can see that the woman was literally being abused and he's recording it. So it's like if you're that far gone that you record this and post it on social media. But again, people just like everything's for entertainment. Not realizing that we're really people. I never saw it until now. People were really literally watching a woman being abused. Miss V is saying Rico is in Diddy's future. I could see that, Miss V. I could definitely see that. Precious is saying, let me see if I can go to the live chat. 50 making a documentary about all of this. Interesting. Yeah, and Rico charges. So here's another example of his temperament. Because now, and speaking of 50, 50 is, this is where 50 is the person that is where I actually saw the video that I'm talking about. But here's another one where they're showing his temperament, where he gets so angry. And this is after he changed his name. The most recent change was Love. I think he saw some of this coming, the allegations, people, telling all of the truths of who he is. And so he's a master marketer too, like Darius Cooks, where they try to change public perception and play mental games. So he like, well, yeah, I've done some horrible things. I'm a horrible person, but I'm going to change my name to Love. I'm going to change my name to Love. And then people, every time they say my name, they're saying love. And it's hard for the human mind to associate love with being a predator. So it's going to throw them off. And it does. It's something in the human brain that cannot see good and evil in the same person. It's either or. So here's the quick little video. Hold on, let me pull that down.
And I was, man, DJ, give me the thing, man. I'm Love now, y'all. So back in the day, somebody may got thrown out the window for that shit, but not no more. I just handle it with grace. Yeah. So
I literally think he was telling us the truth in that moment, that a mistake could get somebody thrown out of a window. I believe that there may be somebody, well, maybe they're not here with us any longer to be able to tell the story, but there could have been some people who would have maybe been able to tell that story had they made it once they went out the window.
When I was, man, DJ, give me the thing, man. I'm Love now, y'all. So back in the day, somebody may got thrown out the window for that shit, but not no more. I just handle it with grace. Yeah.
So that is P. Diddy telling y'all who he is, who he was, who he is, who he be. So the plan today, with the time that we have remaining, is that I'm going to the filing of the. I'm like, where is it? The filing of the civil lawsuit, the complaint for the civil case from Jane Doe, who was 17 years old at the time of the allegation. I'm going to read to us, we're going to read it together, we're going to read together the complaint. So, trigger warning, as it states here, trigger warning, this document contains highly graphic information of a S nature, including SA. So if this is something that may trigger or anything like that, it's going to get heavy. This part of our show about to get heavy. So if you can't watch it, I understand. Love you. Just remember to hit that like on your way out, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be when I get back from a trip. But okay, with that, we're going to move into it. I don't have it to display on the screen, but I'm going to read it to you. So we're going to start here with, I don't know what party this is from. I don't think this is the young lady or anything. This is a photo I had from another video I did with y'all. So I'm just putting that up there just for graphic purposes. So anyway, we have in this suit, Jane Doe, the plaintiff, versus Sean Combs, Harv Pierre, a third assailant, Diddy's House Recordings, Inc., and Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, Inc. And they said the plaintiff, Jane Doe, hereby alleges the following. On November the 16th of 2023, Cassandra Ventura, a.k.a. Cassie, filed a 35-page lawsuit in which she exposed Sean Combs for subjecting her to nearly a decade of physical, and emotional abuse, punctuated by rape, trafficking, and being forced to engage in drug-filled, non-consensual encounters with other men. Remember, there was lingerie involved too. They said something about he wanted lingerie. Still didn't clarify who would wear the lingerie, him or her. I don't believe they would have mentioned if it was her, if it was just her. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, they said ordinarily, when a lawsuit such as Miss Ventura's is filed that involves events that took place long ago, witnesses are few and far between and evidence hard to muster. Not so for the claims brought against Mr. Combs within minutes of the filing. Salient facts of Miss Ventura's claim were confirmed by various witnesses, including a rival musician whose car Mr. Combs blew up, as well as various individuals who observed Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura. That's Cassie. Only a few days later, two other lawsuits were filed against Mr. Combs. In one, plaintiff Joy Dickerson's Neal alleged that Mr. Combs rugged and assaulted her when she was a college student. The other lawsuit accused Mr. Combs and singer Aaron Hall of forcing the plaintiff and another unidentified woman to non-consensual S. At that time, a fourth lawsuit was filed, one against Mr. Combs, companies, and defendant Harv Pierre, the longtime president of Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, also known as Bad Boy. Now, don't this make sense? Why it was Bad Boy? Don't it all it just sound a little different? He names his company Bad Boy Entertainment. I'm bad for entertainment. I'm a bad boy for entertainment. I'm a bad boy of the entertainment industry, literally. The suit alleged that Mr. Pierre used his portion of power at Bad Boy to groom and assault his former assistant, and that Bad Boy looked the other way at the time. No surprises there, right? This is now the fifth lawsuit. I was wrong. This wasn't number 4. This is number 5. Question is, do y'all think this is the last one? If you think this is the last lawsuit, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't think this is the last lawsuit we're going to see, put a 2 in the chat. This is now the 5th lawsuit filed against Mr. Combs in the last 3 weeks. 5 lawsuits in 3 weeks. Is that a record? Is that a record? I think he beat out R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. Incredibly, for the allegations brought by Miss Doe are in many ways even more egregious than those brought by his prior victims. So they saying this is worse than what we've seen in the past so far in these past 3 weeks. Significantly, in 2003, when she was only 17 years old and in the 11th grade, Lord Jesus. That's a junior in high school, y'all. What is she doing around P. Diddy as a junior in high school? Where are your parents? What is happening? Where's your chaperones? Who is... Okay, let me finish reading because I ain't read this. This is a blind reaction. Miss Doe was trafficked and gained raped. I don't know if I want to use grape because it sounds too close to great. 8, yeah, because it's 8 behavior. 8, gained 8 by Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre and third assailant. In short, when she was just a teenager, Miss Doe met Mr. Pierre and the third assailant in a lounge in Detroit, Michigan area. In the Detroit, Michigan area. So she must have had one of those IDs. I heard somebody talking about that recently, and I'm doing commentary. If you got a problem with commentary, go somewhere else. Go Google this and read it yourself. If you want somebody to read it to you, I'm gonna give some commentary. I ain't finna sit here and this ain't no circle time. This ain't preschool, so I ain't finna sit here and read every word and not say nothing but what's on this paper. So before you say something in the comments. Anyway, so I did see that there was a conversation, I can't remember where, that somebody was having, I might have saw it on YouTube or something, about young girls as teenagers around this age, maybe getting fake IDs at a certain point and being able to go to the lounges and stuff. And when back in those days, let's say the 90s and stuff, it was a little different. And when they said it, I was like, I didn't really think about it, but I would say 90s and early 2000s, but I didn't really think about it. But when I started thinking about my female cousin, I ain't giving none of y'all names because some of them watch. I ain't giving none of y'all names, but y'all know that y'all was using y'all sister's IDs because y'all look so close and they would have an extra ID. They have a state ID and they drive like they give you the state ID and y'all go to the club together, but they looked out for each other. That was the difference. Well, sometimes those go, but I had cousins, female cousins who did this stuff. They went to clubs and stuff around the 17, 18-year-old time. They did. So they said when she was just a teenager, Miss Doe met Mr. Pierre and the third assailant in a lounge in the Detroit, Michigan area. While at the lounge, Mr. Pierre insisted that he was best friends with Mr. Combs and even called Mr. Combs with Miss Doe. So he just scouting. This is at R. Kelly level, y'all. He out there scouting. Why are you scouting little girls? What is happening? Mr. Combs convinced Miss Doe, who was half his age at the time, to accompany Mr. Pierre and the third assailant on a private jet to come to his studio in New York City. What year was this? 2003. Did we have FaceTime? How'd he see her? Did they have the technology to see her? Or was it just over the phone? He hear her voice and he like, okay, I trust his judgment. You cute enough. Let's go. They taking a kid all the way from Detroit, Michigan to New York on a private jet. That is trafficking. It goes on to say, before they left for the private jet, Mr. Pierre, oh Jesus, smoked a cracked vase. Smoked a cracked vase in the bathroom at the lounge, in which he also assaulted Miss Doe by forcing her to give him fellatio. They said the third assailant is a pseudonym. When the name of the third assailant is revealed during discovery, plaintiff will seek to amend the complaint by replacing the pseudonym. So they saying we know who this third assailant is. We just telling y'all this in this complaint, but we gonna add it when y'all ready for the discovery. This is for P. Diddy's team, where they're gonna say, well, show us the proof. And they're gonna be like, here's the proof, and also here's the third assailant. They probably got the third assailant then turned on them and is gonna admit to everything. He might be a witness. Probably why they not mentioning him right now. Could be a female too. I don't know. This stuff gets so crazy, y'all. I'm saying he, but it could be. I'm just saying they, because this stuff getting so crazy, y'all. Mr. Pierre, the third assailant, and another gentleman then escorted the high schooler to a private jet, which flew them to Teterboro, New Jersey. I've never heard of that. There were SUVs awaiting the group, and the four of them were driven to Daddy's house recording studio, a studio famously owned and operated by Mr. Combs and Bad Boy. While at the studio, Mr. Combs and his associate, including Mr. Pierre, piled Miss Doe with drugs and alcohol. This sounds pretty much like a pattern. We're hearing this pretty consistently, giving them substances. As the night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe became more and more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented to having S with anyone, much less someone twice her age. And how old is Harv Pierre? Because he had already gotten her to give him fellatio at the bar or the club in Detroit. So that's a problem there. While at the studio, Miss Doe was gang aped by Mr. Combs, the third assailant, and Mr. Pierre in that order. While Mr. Combs was aping Miss Doe, he complained that he could not get off unless she pinched his nipples as hard as she could. Y'all know, we've been hearing he's into some extra stuff. Mr. Combs then watched on. We know he likes to watch. We've heard this before. Again, this stuff is aligning. It is aligning. Says, as Mr. Combs then watched on, the third assailant, who Miss Doe had not even realized had begun to have S with her, aped Miss Doe as she told him to stop. After the third assailant was finished, Mr. Pierre took his turn aping Miss Doe and then violently forced her to give him fellatio, during which Miss Doe was choking and struggling to breathe. Told y'all, trigger warning. When Mr. Pierre finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom, and this all happened in a bathroom, y'all? Jesus. When Mr. Pierre finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom alone. Miss Doe fell into the fetal position and laid on the floor. Her yoni was in pain. Finally, after a period of time, Miss Doe regained her bearings. However, she could barely stand up following the gang ape and had to be helped to walk out of the building back into a car. Jesus. She was taken back to an airport and flown back to Michigan. However, she has very limited recollection of her transport home and only remembers being in her car sometime early in the morning. Wow, they literally flew her out to gang ape her and treated her like a rag doll. So they actually, in this document, also show pictures of of Jane Doe. This is Jane Doe, I'm assuming prior to the incident. This is her in the studio in New York. This is after she's been flown there. And They says, unlike many victims who have come forward after decades, Ms. Doe can prove that she not only met Mr. Combs on the night in question, but was in his studio in New York City with him that night. Remember, when viewing these, Ms. Doe was only 17 years old. So they're saying with these photos, as we're looking at them, remember, we're looking at a 17-year-old sitting on the lap of P. Diddy. She's been flown out on a private jet from a club in Detroit, Michigan area to New York, used and abused, and then sent back. This is her, and I should have pulled in the larger pictures, but this is her. These all over the internet. But this is her in the studio. You see the PD on the wall, and she's pointing at him. I don't know what this middle picture is supposed to be. Oh, this is the middle picture. For some reason, they just got it. The middle picture is just the, looks like a sitting area, like a living room area of some sort, maybe a waiting area. And then you have the third picture, which is just her. Hold on, I could pull in a larger picture. Give me a second, y'all. These look worse than when I talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. There you go. So this is, again, her pointing at the PD sign. I don't think it's police department. I think it's P. Diddy. And then the middle picture, like I said, is just some like living room area of some sort, like a waiting area, I'm sure. And then this is actually her in the sound booth, in the booth where they sing. Look like she got the headphones on and everything. So they giving her a tour, getting her comfortable. Ain't no telling if there was conversation about, oh, I want to be a singer. And they like, we can help you out. Come to the studio tonight. I don't know, So anyway, let's read on. We might get that answer. So they go on to say, Miss Doe has lived with her memories of this fateful night for 20 years, during which time she has suffered extreme emotional distress that has impacted nearly every aspect of her life and personal relationships. Given the brave women who have come forward against Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre in recent weeks, Miss Doe is doing the same. Could you imagine the trauma of 20 years of watching your the predators, because it's more than one, be on TV, doing all these things, people praising them seeming to go on with life like you're worthless and they're everything? Could you imagine that pain? So it's not like, some people experience that and they never see that person ever again, might not even know who they were. This is different. This is every time. Could you imagine the music being played, anything that could be triggering her on a daily basis? They says, to that end, Miss Doe brings this action seeking injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against defendants in violation of the Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law, the Gender-Motivated Violence Act of NYC, and they give the statute. So let me see. I'm not going to read all the technical stuff, but we're just going to. So they said the plaintiff, this is interesting. The plaintiff, Jane Doe, is a citizen of Canada. So she no longer lives in the United States anymore. She's a citizen of Canada. I mean, Canada is very close to Michigan, but I'm like, was she always a resident of Canada? Was she a citizen rather of Canada and happened to be in Detroit? People go over the border all the time. Interesting. Sean Combs, he's a citizen of California. Harv Pierre is still in his predatory state of New York. And the third assailant, upon information and belief, a citizen of the state of New York. Be interesting to see who this third assailant is. So they go on to say they're describing the Diddy's house recording, where it's located, what type of business it is. The same with the bad boy. So here's some factual allegations. Let's see where this takes us. It says in 2003, Miss Doe was a 17-year-old 11th grader residing in the suburb of Detroit, Michigan. So she did live in Detroit at that time, but she's now a resident of Canada. Maybe she was hoping to get away from the music of P. Diddy. I don't know. He's all over the world. But at the time, Mr. Combs was 34. Wow, he was 34 years old, twice the age of Miss Doe, and one of the most well-known, influential music artists of all time. Very true. A decade earlier, Mr. Combs founded Bad Boy and installed his longtime friend, Mr. Pierre, in the role of president. At the time, Mr. Combs had many connections to Michigan, including, among others, the Black Mafia family, the BMF, a rug trafficking and money laundering organization rumored to have seeded bad. Did y'all know this part? Did y'all know that allegedly the Black Mafia family, a rug trafficking and money laundering organization, is rumored to have seeded Bad Boy Entertainment? So they're saying he got his. Ooh, y'all, who said Rico? who has said Rico charges coming soon? Right, Majestic or T? That's some tea. That's some tea to me. Some of y'all be knowing this stuff because y'all really follow this stuff. I ain't really follow hip hop like that. I'm more of an R&B. See, my artists are safe. The ones I really, we got no real scandals about Anita Baker besides, the little social media foolishness going on. And I don't know. I'm a little questioning Babyface now. I was about to say Babyface, but he too close to L.A. Reid, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But Luther and mine, they got like regular everyday people scandals. Like, oh, they mean, oh, they a bitch, oh, they a diva. I can deal with that. Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, oh, they on drugs. I can deal with that. Nobody's perfect, but I can't deal with you being predators. That I can't deal with. So I'm gonna stick to my R&B, my 90s R&B. Early 2000s, no, 70, 80, 90s, and early 2000s R&B. Those are my people. Y'all can have these other ones. Y'all can have this. This y'all all day. Where they at? Y'all can have them. This y'all. So, where we at? Yeah, we'll do that one. Wow, y'all. I didn't know that part. Okay. That threw me off. I told y'all this blind reaction. Okay, so according to so they believe was Bad Boy was created by a Black Mafia family. Accordingly, upon information and belief, Mr. Combs' associates, including Mr. Pierre and a third assailant, spent significant time in and around Detroit, Michigan. This brain is clicking in, even though it's late. All these people that then came up missing and mysteriously passing away, cars being blown up. When you got connections like those kind of connections, you can easily make those sort of things happen. Easily. Things are starting to, the math is starting to math. Yes, Majestic, New Edition. I'll let New Edition in too, I think. I don't know. Bobby, he just got the drug stuff. I can deal with that. He out of breath all the time now and got health issues. I can deal with that. I don't think nobody call him a predator. Ooh, Jesus. I don't know though. Bobby was a little wild. Lord Jesus, he probably got some victims out there. Ain't nobody ever came out though. And some of y'all really liked him. So he probably could just, get it without having to take it. I mean, these people could get it too without taking it. Why did they need it's a power trip. It's a power trip. Mental. They could easily get it without taking it. On one evening between the spring and fall of 2003, Miss Doe was out with friends, and it was not uncommon for her and her friends to frequent bars and lounges in the Detroit area. Certain of Miss Doe's friends were well connected with people in the music industry. Okay, so she wasn't unfamiliar to the music industry. They said on the evening in question, Miss Doe was with friends in a lounge when she was approached by who she later learned was Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre was with his own friends, including the third assailant. Mr. Pierre and the third assailant and their friends were dressed in suits. That also makes you kind of trust somebody, like if you know, especially when you're young and stuff. Mr. Pierre repeatedly complimented Miss Doe's appearance by saying she was hot, among other things. Then began talking about his self-described best friend and brother, Mr. Combs. Specifically, Mr. Pierre continually stated that Mr. Combs would love to meet Miss Doe. Why? He don't know me. Mr. Pierre even called Mr. Combs and put Miss Doe on the line. Mr. Combs told Miss Doe that he would love to meet her and she should accompany Mr. Pierre to New York City in a private jet. What was her friends too? That's the other piece. I ain't into victim blaming, but no, you ain't supposed to leave your friends alone. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Pierre directed Miss Doe to go with him into the bathroom at the lounge. Once inside the bathroom, Mr. Pierre began to smoke a crack vase from what appeared to be an aluminum can. Wow. He smokes crack vases? He don't really look like, I don't know. Y'all don't do drugs. Do that look like a crack vase smoker? Cracked vase? She says after he finished smoking the cracked vase, Mr. Pierre suddenly took out his phallus and demanded that Miss Doe uck his phallus and forced Miss Doe's head down to perform fellatio on him. After assaulting Miss Doe, Mr. Pierre directed her to accompany him, the third assailant and the third member of the group, to the airport in Pontiac, Michigan, where Signature, a fixed base operator, had prepared a jet to take the four of them to New York City. Upon information and belief, the private jet landed at the Teterboro airport. Upon departing the jet, two black SUVs were awaiting the group. Miss Doe got into the SUV with Mr. Pierre and the third assailant, and the other member of the group went into the second SUV. The SUV brought the group to Daddy's house recording studio, a recording studio and hangout owned and operated by Mr. Combs and Bad Boy. When Miss Doe arrived, she was escorted into the building where she distinctly remembers seeing a sign from the company Technicolor. Upon entering the studio, Miss Doe first encountered Mr. Combs. At the time she arrived, a female recording artist was using the studio as Mr. Combs and her parents watched on. Who was this? Was it Aaliyah? Was that Aaliyah? Says she finished up shortly after Miss Doe arrived and left. Who was the singer? I need to know who the singer was. Anyway, while still in the studio section of Daddy's house, Mr. Combs asked Miss Doe to sit on his lap and take a picture. That is this picture here. Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre and the third assailant began to ply Miss Doe, a 17-year-old child at the time, with copious amounts of rugs and alcohol. While the evening became a blur, Miss Doe recalls Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre and the third assailant hitting her incessantly. What? Let me make sure I'm reading this right. While the evening became a blur, Miss Doe does recall Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre and the third assailant hitting on her incessantly, stroking her body, asking to see her arse, and telling her how hot and sexy she was. Wow, just like, it's almost like, have y'all seen like the Animal Planet stuff where you're watching the lions, around a lamb, and they're preying on them, and they circle them, and they group around them? That's what this sounds like. Various other pictures were taken in the studio that night, leaving no doubt that Miss Doe was in Mr. Combs' New York City studio with Miss Combs on the night that she was 8. As the night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe became more and more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented to having any X with anyone, much less someone twice her age. Nevertheless, that evening, Mr. Combs directed Miss Doe to accompany him to the bathroom at the studio. So that's how they got in the bathroom. They love these bathrooms, don't they? Because that's where Harv took her. Well, he was in the club, but that's where he took her. Once there, Mr. Combs removed Miss Doe's skirt and underwear and inserted from behind with his phallus while she hung over the sink. That's crazy. Miss Doe did not consent to having S with Mr. Combs, but he continued thrusting. At some point, Mr. Combs turned Miss Doe around to face him. He told her that he could not orgasm and asked her to squeeze his nipples as hard as she could to help him get off. That's in quotes. Get off. What they call him? He called his party freak-offs. Then he turned back around and continued to ape her. By this point, Miss Doe was coming in and out of consciousness because of the drugs and alcohol that had been given by the defendants. Her next memory was looking up into a mirror above the sink to find that the third assailant had replaced Mr. Combs and was aping her from behind. Mr. Combs was watching the third assailant essay Miss Doe from a chair outside of the bathroom. At this point, Miss Doe mustered enough energy to tell the third assailant to stop and that she did not want to have S with him. The third assailant did not stop and continued to ape Miss Doe, who did not have the strength to force him off. After the third assailant finished, he was replaced by Mr. Pierre, who began to have consensual yoni sex with Miss Doe before violently forcing her to give him fellatio. During the latter part of the essay, Mr. Pierre forced his phallus into Miss Doe's mouth without consent. Miss Doe remembers Mr. Pierre was sweaty and that she had difficulty breathing. When Mr. Pierre finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom alone. Miss Doe fell into the fetal position and laid on the floor. Her yoni was in pain. Finally, after a period of time, Miss Doe regained her bearings. However, she could barely stand up following the gain ape, and had to be helped to walk out of the building and back into a car. She was taken back to an airport and flown back to Michigan. However, she had very limited recollection of her transportation. We read this part, but they're adding some details, so that's why I'm reading it all. And only remembers being in her car sometime early in the morning. Her underwear were missing. See, they add these little details. So her underwear were missing. As a result of being aped by Mr. Combs, Mr. Pierre, and the third assailant, Miss Doe suffered significant emotional distress and feels of shame that have plagued her life and relationships for 20 years. They said Miss Doe knew that speaking out against defendants would be extremely difficult and she would likely be subjected to retaliation and defamation, slurs, and attacks. However, in November of 2023, Ms. Doe read about the lawsuit filed against Mr. Combs by Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie, and which described the decades of trauma. Ms. Doe obviously understands that she too had been trafficked, and that Mr. Combs' behavior in forcing women into non-consensual was not an isolated incident or unique to only Miss Ventura. So she's saying, and this is the thing that I hear a lot on social media, why they speaking out now? They's made up. They just clout chasing, blah, blah, blah. No, what happens is when people have these sort of things happen to them and the person that did it to them are more powerful, they know that when they speak out, and if there's power in numbers, and they know if they're the only person speaking out, just what she said, she knows that she's going to face retaliation, slurs, harassment, all this stuff, not only from the people who they are finally telling on, but also the public as a whole, the court of public opinion. However, when you have situations like this happen and you start to have more and more people coming out, now people are actually listening. So that's why people will take 20 years to come out, or only come out when other people start to come out. It ain't necessarily that they making it up or trying to clock chase. It's like, finally, it's a safe enough space for me to tell my story or try to get some kind of resolve to the harm that was done to me. I don't know why people don't get that, but maybe because they've never been through anything like that. But anyway, they go into all the statutes and a bunch of that kind of stuff. But we'll see where this goes. I definitely wanted to bring this to y'all while it was fresh and while I had time. There are some starred questions. Thank you so much, Precious, for that. Or comments, I should say. Russell fled for a reason. He did not want those women to say he did. Yeah, absolutely. We know that one of Russell's victims, and I believe her, yeah. Nothing innocent about Russell. He treats his children like he does. He ain't no good. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, to have the story, I did cover the story a few months ago when Russell was into it with his daughter. And she was saying that basically he was a horrible father and mean and all of those sort of things. So, none of that is lost on us at this point. Your own children exposed you. Kimura was underage when he got with her. He's a predator. Yes, Vanessa, thank you for reminding us about that as well, because I kind of forgot about that. So, yeah, he groomed her. Joey Paradox is saying lie detector test means nothing when a yoga master takes them. He literally can fool those things by controlling his breathing. Thank you for that, Joey Paradox. Now, I went further and said he could, afford to have someone teach him how to, cheat the lie detector test. But the other piece is, yes, he's a yoga master. So he's good at calming himself, because that's part of what is detecting is spikes in your breathing and your heart rate and all of that. If you're a master at knowing how to control those things, you're going to pass the lie detector test, because that's all that it's gauging. Quit playing in our face. Quit playing in our face. That's why they're not admissible in the court of law, because people can trick them like yoga masters. He's sick in the head. Yes, they both are. I'm pretty sure you might have been talking about Russell at the time, but they both are. Christ Child says, that's right. People can learn way past the lie detector. Yep. Oh, and the name, if you have not seen, thank you for this, Vanessa, as well. If you haven't seen it, the documentary that Russell Simmons was referring to Oprah putting out about him, that, it's her fault, that his career is, ruined and he had to, hide in shame. It's called On the Record is the name of the documentary. How is he just going to voluntarily diss out her number? Right. I thought about that too, Nicole. When Russell was like, I'll give you her number. I'll give you Oprah's number so you can ask her. Yeah, you better not be just giving my number out for random people. His interviews are always weird. Yeah, well, he's a weird guy too. Right. His children don't even like him. Oprah is friends with Harvey Weinstein and John of God. Can't trust her either. I don't know who John of God is. I did hear about Harvey Weinstein. She also has some association with the guy who had the island. I always forget his name. The guy who had the island who supposedly unalived himself in prison once he was caught for sex trafficking. He had the island where all the powerful people went to. Diddy was connected to him too. A lot of people were connected to him. Forgetting his name. Epstein, Epstein, yes. So yeah, Oprah was connected to him as well. Yeah, he absolutely ran to avoid jail. He's back in America all the time, sounds like. That's what, Chocolate, I didn't know. So Russell said in the interview, for those of you who heard the beginning of the show, the clip I played, he said that it's not true that he went to Bali to, escaping charges or anything. He just moved there. But he also says he's not running from America. He's here all the time. And Chocolate is saying he's back in America all the time. Sounds like it's to me. Because I haven't heard that either, but I don't follow him like that. So I can't say with certainty that he has not been back or doesn't come back. Sounds a little odd to me, but whatever. They've been known that he was sneaky peeky. I don't know if we're talking about still, if that was earlier, if we're talking about Russell or Diddy. There are many more victims who will never speak up, even when the predator is not. Well, no, very, very true, Alice. Yes. I mean, some people who are watching in this very moment have people in your life or people who were in your life who you never spoke on, who did, unforgivable things to you. Is very true. That's why I personally have a hard time when I feel offended for survivors when I see people victimizing them, re-victimizing them by why they doing that? They a liar, this and that. And you're just speaking on your emotions and your opinions. And I think when you don't know, you should shut the F up about it. Because God forbid it happens to you or someone that you love. You're very welcome, Cora. I appreciate you watching and liking the video and being one of our people. Star saying the problem is a lot of people accept the behavior because of money. Absolutely, Star. That's really the nail on the head. It's the money. I watch a lot of predators out here and the people who enable them and the people who follow them, and they do it because that person has money or at least the illusion of having money. And that's enough for them because they think their proximity to someone with money, wealth, or power will in some way improve their lives. That's not usually how it works, though. Because when they come tumbling down, you do as well. Or sometimes when they're a predator, if they're a predator of other people, they're going to prey on you too. It might look different or it might take a little longer, but it's going to happen to you too. You do not sign deals with the devil. Don't party with the devil. It never ends up well. The sad part is that this behavior goes on all the time with famous people, especially in the music business, and then they want to say they're groupies. Yeah, I agree. If Diddy goes to jail, he will be okay. He'll have a new set of friends, right? Well, probably some old friends that he knew from the streets that are in there now. Thank you so much, Duran. I really appreciate that. I wonder when Diddy going to buy his ticket to Bali and join Russell. Both of them are dirty, lifelong predators. Yeah, I'm wondering. I thought about that too, just because we just did the Russell story. And if you have any questions or comments that you want me to see, I'm gonna look at the live chat because those are older messages. I saw one that somebody tagged me, but Hopefully I can find it. I'm not sure if I'll find it. But yeah, I thought about it because we did the Russell story, the fact that I wonder if Diddy will end up doing the same. And I'm wondering how much of a window does he have? Because right now, all his stuff is civil, which was different than Russell's, who his were going to be criminal. At least the majority of them, I think, were, or at least he had enough that. So he was afraid of jail time. Diddy's biggest concern right now is his money, losing money, these deals, his businesses and those things. But right now, his freedom, as of today, this moment, might wake up tomorrow, be a whole nother story. So as of this moment, what is this? December 7th at 10:02 p.m. Central. He is only facing charges that are civil. His freedom is not as at stake. However, tomorrow morning could be a totally different story. Totally different story. I'm going to go to the live chat because I don't know where that comment went. Here we go. Miss V is saying, have you heard about the male victim that kept the clothes that he was aped in since 1989 by Diddy and a friend while he was a student at Howard University? No, I have. You know what? I heard, I don't know. I heard it somewhere, saw it somewhere that something, but I hadn't seen it, but I heard it, but I haven't been able to dig into it. And I didn't know that level of detail. I just heard that there was a male survivor who also had now just come out. So thank you for that. I'll look for more information on that. And then I'll come to y'all next week, and we'll dig into that as well, and a couple other things in this vein. So thank you for mentioning that. Thanks for covering these stories. The mainstream media had a 5-minute clip and then moved on. I hope the survivors and friends of the community keep supporting them. Yeah, and that's why it takes me so long to get these sort of stories out to y'all, because I don't like to just read the headlines of most stories. I want to have the beginning, middle, and end. And if I don't, I feel like I don't feel comfortable getting on camera talking about it. So that's, yeah. But thank you. Vel, did you hear about Usher? What about Usher now? What? I ain't yelling at you. I'm like, what? What is happening? I mean, okay, like new allegations about Usher? Because did y'all know about this? Jesus. He wasn't on my list though, y'all. When I just told y'all my R&B 90s, 70s, 80s. Well, I don't know. The 70s artists was a little rough too. It's a different time. Great live, gotta go. Appreciate you, Zila. If they got DNA off those clothes, it would be a nail in the coffin there. Yeah. The only problem is, again, that would be another civil suit. I'm looking for the criminal suits. Let's go ahead and let's take the freedom. Let's take the freedom. Let's get the predators off the street, is what I'm saying. So and that's fine. I want everybody to get their, financial retribution and all of that stuff too. But can we please call down the center owl? I call freedom. Freedom, come on, testify. Let's take this freedom. Diddy groomed Usher. Yeah, we know. Yeah, I definitely know about that. But is that what Diddy did it to Usher? Oh, is that what you were talking about, Margin? Okay, yeah, I'm very familiar with that. I thought you were saying there was some allegations against Usher. I'm like, what? Yes, very familiar with that whole thing. That did the same thing to Usher. Yes. Okay, we on the same page now. I'm like, oh Lord, not Usher too. But he still wasn't on my list because Usher got his stuff too. But he wasn't charged. He was just charged with if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it just not informing people? No one said he SA'd them, right? It was like he wasn't disclosing his infections. I think. I could be wrong, y'all. It's so much. I think it's a good strategy to reduce his money with the civil cases, then do that. That's a good point, Pink Pearls. Very good point. It doesn't necessarily seem like these people know each other and they're necessarily working together. but it does seem like they're working together. They like, oh, somebody just, okay, now I'm gonna do this after they do, okay, they just did that, I'm gonna do this. So it's all coming together. I love to see it. I love to see it. And not that I'm celebrating the downfall of black men or anybody, because I've been accused of that. For some reason, when I report the facts over here, I'm accused of being a hater and trying to tear black men down or people in general. Because I report on women scammers too and predators. But I don't know why it's a problem when you just share the facts. I'm a little lost at that. I'm nobody's flying monkey and never will be. They said he allegedly has, herpes. Yes. Yeah, so I thought that was, it was like consensual, except for they didn't consent for you to give them that. So, yeah, that's predatory in a way too, but, it is. I don't think everyone is going for the money grab, but I'm ready for justice for Kim Porter. Yes, and Cassie and the countless others Diddy needs to pay for his crimes. I'm just saying. I agree with you, Lorna. I'm questioning. Let me do this poll. Do you think, and I'm with you, do you think Kim Porter will ever get justice? So if you believe that her life was taken from her, not by nature, not by God, but by man, do you believe that there will ever be justice in that case? We know that, and again, I'm really going to be deep diving. I'm already pulling stuff together. I got my system over here. It's tightening up. I'm loving it. So we already know now that there's a connection between the Black Mafia and Diddy. And then all these things that have happened to people, including I'll Be Sure, who mysteriously almost lost his life, ended up in a coma because something was trying to take him out. But it was all after he started to point fingers at Diddy for unaliving Kim. And then other people and other things. I tell y'all, the cosmetic surgeon that Diddy had the cosmetic surgeon do breast augmentation on Cassie. They said right after the surgery, within that first week, he was not satisfied with her new itties. And he was like, take them out, put some new ones in. I don't like them. Redo them. And the doctor was like, I can't do that. That's not, they got to heal first and then we can redo it. He's like, nope, I don't want them. Take them out. Like it was a coat or something she had on. So the doctor then performs the surgery again to redo before she was healed. That doctor then a year later mysteriously ends up driving off a cliff. I know some of y'all was from, LA, saying, oh, it's a windy world and it's dangerous, blah, blah, blah. But they said that man was literally texting and driving on a windy, cliffy road. Huh? I don't know, y'all. But if I'm connected to the mob, I can make those sort of things happen. Cut a brake line here or there. Or drain the brake fluid. Because when the car go tumbling down and they do the investigation, if they even go that far, and there's no brake fluid left in it, in the car, they can say, oh, it dripped down the mountainside. That's why it was none in there. Not that it got drained out before the guy got in the car. I don't know, y'all. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna put all this together. I'm doing some archiving. I got a system that does some amazing things with this digital assets now. So I'm gonna break these stories down and we're gonna do timelines because y'all know I like beginning, middle, and end. So with that, I have held y'all long enough. We've been on here for an hour and a half. I just wanted to make sure to be able to give y'all something before I have to leave for a couple days because I wasn't gonna be able to come to y'all this weekend. I really appreciate y'all for watching. The last poll question is, do you think Kim Porter will ever get justice? Oh, it's 50-50. 50-50. 50% of you think yes. 50% of you say no. Do I want it for her? Absolutely. I'm 50-50 on if it's going to happen, because you got to have real evidence. And unless somebody knows something and this stuff starts to go towards the criminal realm and people start turning on each other, I don't know if we'll ever get that. And the people who may have been attached to making something like that happen may be so deep in that they'll never flip on anybody. They probably, they with that street code stuff. Allegedly, I don't know. I'm just a blogger. Don't bother me, y'all. I'm just a blogger. Don't be sending no black SUVs over here. I'm just a blogger. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just taking everything off the internet. I don't know nothing. I ain't talking to nobody, and I ain't interviewing nobody connected to this. I like my simple life. Anyway, thank you to everyone who's joined. Thank you for Precious G, who was in the background holding it down for me, Mary Ann, my moderator, Mary Ann, and Alice, and everyone. Oh, Deshaun, I see. Anyone I may be missing who was on the front end, I greatly appreciate all of you for your support. With that, make sure you hit that like button and follow me on my social media platforms that are linked in the pinned comment above, as well as it will be in the pinned comment below this video and also in the description area. So with that, until next time, until I upload the next video, I'm going to send y'all out with a good old Velnito commercial. So with that, until next time, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.
With my eyes closed, it's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still trying to fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Trying to earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Akita. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, Young G's. And I'm a self-made man.